Good morning and welcome, everyone. I don't know what I can say to this group that I haven't already said. We've had a remarkable couple of days, and it's been kind of an emotional roller coaster, but I feel really good about it. And I just, again, welcome to everybody, and thank you for coming. This is really a special exhibit, more than a showcase for the Space Shuttle Atlantis. This facility tells the amazing 30-year history of our shuttle program. And it gave us the Hubble Space Telescope, the International Space Station, and much, much more. And Challenger and Columbia, they're a part of that 30-year history. And I think, the vehicles are part of our family as well as the crews. And we don't ever want to forget them. We want to remember them. And this really does that. Working with the families, we have developed this new exhibit that honors them, their vehicles, and the KSC and NASA civil servants that cared for them and returned them to flight. And I think that's pretty special. When we go in here and you get a chance to see it, I look at the sidewall of Challenger and I see the American flag. And I think of all that was accomplished on her 10 missions. I see the smiles and faces of her crews. They walked out of the crew quarters in the operations and checkout building to get in the Astrovan for that ride to the pad. And I see our will to persevere in the face of adversity and rise above it and come back even stronger. I said this last night and I want to say it again. They say that the eyes are the windows to our soul. And I truly believe that. When you look in someone's eyes, you know who they are. And when I go in here and I look into the windows of Columbia, they're the soul of Columbia. And I see, John Young and Bob Crippen taking off on the boldest test flight this nation's ever flown, the first flight of America's space shuttle, Columbia, a reusable spacecraft. I see all the crews. I see myself, a much younger Bob Cabana on his first command. And I see Rick and Willie and the rest of the crew of 107 smiling. I just see them enjoying space. And it's truly, truly amazing. I believe it's important to share this story with everyone and not just push it aside and try and hide it. These crews and these vehicles are part of who we are as an agency and a nation. They tell the story of our never-ending quest to explore and our undying spirit to never give up. We will always remember the lessons that we learned in their crews, in the vehicles, and the people that cared for them. I hope that all of you find this exhibit as meaningful as I have. And I thank you for your continued support on our journey to Mars. Thank you very much. At this time, it's my great pleasure to introduce a close friend of mine, someone that helped make this possible. It was back in 2012 when Discovery was being inducted into the National Air and Space Museum at the Udvar-Hazy facility at Dulles Airport, that we briefed our administrator, Charlie Bolden, on what we wanted to do and why we thought it was important, and to gain his permission to proceed. And he was totally in favor of it. And we couldn't have accomplished this, we couldn't have done it without his help and support. So for me, it's really special to have Charlie as a part of this. So I won't say any more. You all know what a special person he is and what an outstanding job he is doing leading this agency in our quest to explore and go even further. Our administrator, Charlie Bolden.
Thanks very much, Bob, and again, thanks to everybody who's here. Especially thanks to the media who came out. I know there's a lot of stuff going on. It's a very active weekend, but you're an incredibly important part of this story because you'll help us to to get it out to the world so that people understand what we're trying to tell here, and people will understand the hope that we talk about when we talk to each of the young kids here. You know, we're here this entire weekend to honor our friends and our colleagues, moms and dads, for some of us, sons and daughters, uncles, aunts, brothers and sisters. Francis R. Scobie, Mike J. Smith, Ellison S. Onsuka, Judith A. Resnick, Ronald E. McNair, Gregory Jarvis, Sharon Krista McAuliffe, Rick D. Husband, William D. C. McCool, Michael P. Anderson, Kalpana Chawla, David M. Brown, Laurel B. Clark, Alan Ramon. Every single one of them is with us as we sit here. Every single one of them is watching us as we come here to celebrate. And every single one of them is incredibly happy as they look down on what they were a part of and what they made possible. You know, the poet Hannah Senesh writes, and I quote, "There are stars whose radiance is visible on earth, though they have long been extinct. There are people whose brilliance continues to light the world, even though they are no longer among the living. These lights are particularly bright when the night is dark. They light the way for humankind," unquote. The crews of STS-51L Challenger and STS-107 Columbia are forever a part of a story that is ongoing. It's the story of humankind's evolving journey into space, the unknown, and the outer reaches of knowledge, discovery, and possibility. It's a story of hope. Forever Remembered will tell that story. On that terrible February day in 2003 when we lost Columbia, President Bush reminded our nation that, and I quote, "These astronauts knew the dangers and they faced them willingly, knowing they had a high and noble purpose in life. Because of their courage and daring and idealism, we will miss them all the more," unquote. NASA established this memorial so that humankind's journey of discovery endures. We will never forget the sacrifice that made it possible. It was put together in cooperation with some of the most wonderful, courageous, and resilient people anyone could ever hope to meet, the families of the astronauts who we've lost. The artifacts here on display, for some, are not easy to look at. Many of them are on display for the very first time. It's our hope that by making them available for public view, we will help remind the world that every launch, every discovery, every measure of progress is possible only because of the sacrifice of those we have lost. I want to leave you today with a few of the words that President Reagan offered the nation on January 28, 1986. He was speaking about the crew of Challenger, whom he referred to as pioneers. And his words are every bit as appropriate as we remember our friends and family who were lost on Columbia. And I quote, "They had that special grace, that special spirit that says, 'Give me a challenge and I'll meet it with joy.' They had a hunger to explore the universe and discover its truths. They wished to serve, and they did. They served us all. The future doesn't belong to the faint-hearted, it belongs to the brave." The Challenger crew was pulling us into the future and will continue to follow them, end quote. Follow them we will as they continue to light the way for humankind in this memorial exhibit. Thanks again to all of you who have come. Thanks especially to the families who have given so much, and most of all have supported the construction, the planning, the development of this memorial. We hope it serves you well. God bless all of you, and thanks so much to everyone.